So now we have moved over to our okra bed, and our okra seeds are finally popping up, so we know exactly where they are. Same thing applies with okra and peas versus corn and beans. Peas grow really, really fast. They don't get as big of leaves as beans, definitely a little bit smaller, but ultimately they grow so vigorously that if there is not something for them to climb up right off the bat, they just fall over. And if they fall over on top of another seedling of an okra, they're gonna shade it out, they're gonna overcompete, and you're not gonna be growing much okra, and you're gonna be growing a lot of peas. So now that we've got our okra over here, let's go over the okra. We've actually got 4 varieties of okra on this bed, so it's gonna be perfect for 4 varieties of peas. So we're gonna actually be growing Mammoth Melting Sugar, the Sugar Magnolia Tendril, the Lincoln, and the King Tut Purple. This gives us a nice variety of peas over here, and we can do 1 type of pea per 1 type of okra. This is gonna be a really cool blend. Let's get started. So the first one that I want to do is the King Tut's Purple. I'm excited to see the seeds. Looks like a normal pea seed, nothing too crazy there. Let's get these babies in the ground. And with peas, feel free to go ahead and do 2 peas per stalk. Totally fine.
Keep the sky on your mind.
The okras are very small right now. You can see them just barely sticking up. They're very small still, but it's okay. Let's move along to the golden sweet. Whenever I'm doing plantings like this, I always try to go exactly opposite colors. So I'll do a green right next to a purple, and then red right next to the green, and then stuff like that. So that way you know exactly what's what when it comes down to your planting. It's hard to see these okra, but they are there. The purple hull pink eye. Look at that. Let's go ahead and plant that one. This is the beautiful thing about this stuff, guys. If you find one that you're like, I have to plant that, I bought that to plant, go ahead and plant it. Sugar Magnolia Tendril or Mammoth Melting Sugar. The next is the Sugar Magnolia Tendril. So okra are really cool. Okra kind of mimic how a tomato plant grows a little bit, but definitely different. And okra is a vertical growing plant. It gets about 4 to 6 feet tall, depending on which one you do. Has nice big leaves, doesn't do much branching, but is a perfect stalk for a pea to climb up. So I wanted to throw it out there. There's 2 separate things that you can do with your hulls of your peas or beans. Some people say to leave the hull and just allow it to be a channel for water to collect and go right past that seed. Some people say to fill it in. Some people say to go right in between and fill it in enough where it's got dirt on top of it, but it still has that channel for the water to run across. I always like to run my irrigation right off the bat and see how much it fills in the holes. And if there's seeds that I can clearly see, then I'll cover them up. Things like peas only really need about 1/4 of an inch of soil on top of them to have the best results. Now, obviously it depends on how intense your sun is, how dry your climate is. The more intense your sun and the drier the climate, bury your seeds a little bit deeper. A lot of seeds like to be a little bit shallower versus deeper, and Mother Nature has an amazing way because nobody's out there in an okra field after the okra drop poking the seeds back down into the ground or anything else where a volunteer might come up. So Mother Nature has evolved to be able to germinate itself with the most minimal care possible. Sometimes we need to remember this in a backyard farm, and that's why we set up our systems to take care of the garden for us so that we can sit back, watch the magic happen, and do the fun part, which is harvesting and cooking absolutely delicious food for our friends and family that they have not tried yet. Well, thanks for following along on the seed sowing portion of our companion planting session today. So stay tuned for the rest of the companion planting masterclass here in the Backyard Farming Academy. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to leave them down below. And thanks for following us on the adventure. I'm Tate. Have a great day.
Please like and subscribe. Thanks for the daily family.